if I can do this in one swoop. Following is the January 24th, 2020 677th regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting taking place at 1110 West Washington, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007. The time is... You ready?
All right, I'm ready. All right, good morning. It is Friday, January 24th, 2020. This is the 677th regular meeting of the Arizona Racing Commission. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Here.
Commissioner Garay?
Here.
Commissioner Lawless? Absent. Commissioner McClintock?
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. And as a reminder, on a public service, please silence or turn all cell phones off. If you must take a call, please be courteous to those around you and take the conversation out into the hall. Thank you. It's all yours.
At this time, I'll call the meeting to order. All right, the first item is Executive Session B, Monarch Content Management, LLC versus the Arizona Department of Gaming. Do we need a executive session?
Yes. I think so. Yes. I move we go into executive session.
We have all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. It is 10:01, and this is the first break on the recess on the open session. Thank you.
All right, I am ready.
We're on recording.
All right, we're going to call this back to order. Madam Secretary, could you please call roll?
Thank you. The time is 10:38 a.m., and we are now back into the reconvening the second open session of the 677th Arizona Racing Commission meeting. And the roll call is Commissioner Coolidge.
Here.
Commissioner Garay.
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock.
Yes.
And Commissioner Lawless is absent. Okay. And again, as a general reminder, please turn off or silence all cell phones. If you must take a call, be courteous and leave the room for the conversation. Thank you.
All right, so calling us back to order. All right, before we get to item C, action items, I do want to recognize one person who I think has demonstrated an outstanding integrity in the sport of racing, and that would be our director, Mr. Boyd. So here's your challenge. Come on, to All right, with that said, item C1, request for Relitos Park Race Course for approval of 2020 race dates as follows. Live race dates February 8th, 9th, 15th, 16th, 22nd, 23rd, 29th, March 1st, 7th, 8th, 14th, 15th, 21st, and 22nd, 2020. Dark days, Kentucky Derby Day, May 2nd, 2020, and Preakness Day, May 16th, 2020. Greg, is there anything?
No, the only thing I want to add to it is Jay Wells just came to me recently this morning and said that they will be also requesting the Belmont Stakes Day, which is, I think, June 6th this year. We'll go ahead and cover that in another commission meeting. We've got time to look at that.
Any discussion? Have a motion?
No, I move we approve Relitos race dates.
You have a second? I'll second it.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
All right. Item C2, request from Pima County Fair Horse Racing Commission approval of 3-year county fair racing permit for the following dates: February 8th, 9th, March 21st, and 22nd, 2020, February 13th, 14th, March 27th, and 28th, 2021, February 12th, 13th, March 26th, and 27th, 2022. Anything?
Nothing to add. They did submit their application. It's been gone over, and we would recommend approval.
Any discussion?
To approve.
I'll second. You can have it.
Okay, I will leave that as Mr. McClintock is seconding. I heard him first. Thank you. The roll call, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
All right, item C3, Turf Paradise request approval to transfer the Parkview Tap House Bar and Grill OTB.
Yes, this was originally an OTB that was proposed by Arizona Downs. They ran it for a few months. It is now being transferred over to Turf Paradise's network. I've had discussions with both committee management about it. Both are in agreement that to turn the OTB over to Turf Paradise. So everything's in order, and we would recommend approval.
And they got all the, there's no wait on licensing or anything, they're all?
No, all the people are licensed, and so everything would be in place.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, this has been approved then and carries.
Item C4, discussion and potential action regarding approval of OTB ownership change for the Berg OTB, formerly known as Gallagher's on 7th Street.
Yes, this was purchased, privately purchased by a new entity. They've been licensed. We've done their background vetting, and it had both dog racing and horse racing. So what we've done is when a complete change of a OTB ownership is done, we've asked that it comes back before the commission. Everything's in place. We've done the background investigations, and it's just waiting for your action.
Is there any discussion?
Second.
Moving to approve. Okay.
So Commissioner Coolidge made that motion and Commissioner McClintock seconded. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item C5, OTB ownership change for Bleachers Sports Grill.
Same situation, had a complete ownership change. We've done background investigations on both the entities and the LLC, and we would recommend approval. Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries and this has been approved.
All right, the next item is C6, Monarch simulcast signal not being provided to all off-track wagering facilities. And I do know we have people that are signed up to speak on this, but Greg, did you have any?
I have no discussion.
All right, the first one that I have from the public would be Debbie Ferguson.
Good morning. I
Could you please state your name for the record?
am Debbie Ferguson, and I'm a horseman and owner and just a lot of things. But I just am baffled by the idea that we cannot enforce a law and make it fair and equitable for everybody in racing in this state. It's something that is in all of our best interests, and I would implore the commission to consider that it is now a law, and please back that law and uphold it so that we all can benefit from it. That's all I have to say, really. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. The next one is Buzz. She signed up
She's
here.
already signed up.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Buzz Alston, speaking on item number 6, Monarch signal cast. Several things that I think that this commission needs to know, and one is that I know you're aware this law that was passed is in litigation now. The Monarch has sued the Arizona Racing Commission, and that's in litigation. One of the things that evidently Monarch asked for a restraining order, temporary restraining order, and that was denied. I think that's significant, and I should mention it why that's significant. I know a thing or two about appellate courts and all. And what signaled to me when they denied a request for the restraining order is that courts are reluctant to issue orders that have no meaning and accomplish nothing. Well, I think that the court in this case did not grant the restraining order because it would be meaningless and would accomplish nothing. And I think I'll make that clear to you in a few moments with my remarks. But I think that's why that happened. Another thing I want, just before I point out why that is, I want to say that the validity of this law is being litigated in court now. That's when it comes to questions of law, that's where they should be decided in the courts. As a commission, you guys have the duty and responsibility to enforce and comply with the laws, but you don't have the authority or the responsibility or the abilities to determine the legality of the laws. That's for the judges. But at this stage of the game, the law is being litigated. We'll have to wait and see that comes out. Now, first thing, and I have some notes I'd like to pass out. I'm at David Johnson. Okay. Okay. I think you need this many, but if not, that's all right. What you have in your hand now is you have the current contract between Monarch and Turf Paradise for the operation of the simulcast activities. And this is a contract that's now in existence, and you will note the effective date of this contract was August 22nd, 2019. August 22nd, 2019. Here's some more. The next thing that you're going to be handed is the House Bill 2547. That's the House bill that in essence set up the situation that we refer to as sell one, sell all. That's the bill that says that if Monarch, specifically Monarch, if you sell the signals to one operator in Arizona, you must sell them all. This bill became effective on August 27th, 2019, 5 days after the enactment of the contract that was entered into between Turf and Monarch. The significance of that, and I'll cite the law to you in a moment. The significance of that is that this law, 2547, was not made retroactive. The legislature can do, yes.
Can I ask you a question here?
Yes.
With you saying that retroactive,
Yes.
I'm looking at section T, item T.
Yeah.
Each commercial live racing permittee in this state shall enter into an agreement that complies with this subsection.
Right.
Would that not maybe mean that going forward from this law date, you have to enter into an agreement that complies with this?
I suspect that's one interpretation of it, but that's not retroactive. What happened? This bill was prospective, not retroactive. They could have made it retroactive. The legislature has a right to make it retroactive. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But this was not retroactive. As a result, it doesn't apply to Turf, and it doesn't apply to Monarch.
Are you going to need more than the 3 minutes? When you sign up here, it is for 3 minutes. If you're going to need more, I would ask fellow commissioners if we would be okay with granting more than 3 minutes.
I don't think it'd be much more, but I'd appreciate it.
I agree.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, this has to do with Bill, with the, there you are. This has to do with a bill that was passed also about the same time, and it had to do with the application of the the OTB sites going forward, and that bill also became effective on August 27, 2019. Now, the significance of all of that is this. None of the provisions and there's one other bill that you have to take a look at, and that is 5-112U. 5-112U. 5-112U, it pretty much echoes the same provision you see in 2547, and that again is a restatement of the sell one, you must sell all. That bill also was effective on August 27th, 2019. Not retroactive, prospective. So that bill also is precluded from applying to the Turf Monarch contract. Let me say this, just so you know, unless something changes statutorily or from a regulatory standpoint, all of these immunities from application of these laws go away at the end of the race meet in 2021, at the end of Turf Barriers race meet in 2021, because that's the end of these contracts. These contracts that were enacted before the effective date of 2547 and 5-112U, and those will become the law that applies to Turf and Monarch at the end of the race meet in 2021. A couple of other things. Just it says a fair amount here, I think. In a letter I sent to Mr. Casillas in November of last year. I'm not going to pass this out. I just want to read from it. I said that House Bill 2547, as set out above, there's no mention about the contracts existing at the time of the enactment of HB 2547. That was enacted on the 27th of, as you know, the 27th of November, and the contracts with Monarch and Turf was it was November 22nd of that year. Arizona has a statute, and I have this I can hand out to you, has a statute, ARS 1-244, that specifically provides no statute is retroactive unless expressly declared therein. The Arizona and the United States Constitution both guarantee that. The statute is not retroactive unless it is expressly declared to be retroactive. Now, this is interesting. I gotta pass these out. I think you'll be perhaps amused at this. Perhaps you'll be amused at this. I hope. I'm only handing this out so that you'll become aware of the significance and the importance of this issue of retroactivity is. And ARS 1-244 deals with the issue of retroactivity, and if you look at page 2, and we're all used to legalese and a lot of language hard to understand, the statute on retroactivity, when you enact legislation in Arizona, simply says no statute is retroactive unless expressly declared therein. That's it. No legalese, nothing. That's the law in Arizona. Has been the law in Arizona for some time. So we don't have the retroactive application of those statutes. There is. I think I've shown you think I should, here, I'll give you some of these.
If you can wrap it up here.
I'm about done. This is a, well, let me just read it to you. This is, I can't find my copy, but I'll just read it to you. This is a letter I received from Martha McConnell, works in the legislative library in the state of Arizona, and I wanted to check. I had the information which I gave you on 2547 not being enacted and effective on the 27th of November of last year, and I was trying to figure out about this ARS 5-112U, which is the kind of the sister language to 2547. And so I finally got, I don't know Ms. McConnell, but I finally got her to research it for me, and she says the following. The statute was most recently amended in 2019. I checked here to see whether the legislation included an effective date. It was effective on the general effective date of 8/27/2019. And that's it. That's the, we're talking about ARS 5-112. So that's, and the reason why that brings me back to the beginning, and then I said that I think I understand why the injunction wasn't issued. The injunction wasn't issued because there's nothing to issue it on. The statute's not effective until as to Monarch and Turf until 2021, because it was not retroactive. So that's, I think that concludes my remark. I'd be glad to address any questions. But one thing I'd like to urge you to keep in mind is that the court will eventually decide whether this law is a good one or not. There's a lot of problems with the law, but I didn't get into that because that's nothing you need to consider. All you need to consider, as you sit here today, is the effective date. If it was effective, then you would enforce it until the court told you not to. But you can't enforce a law that's not effective and not retroactive. And so you guys will just have to, and let's get you off the hook. You'll just have to wait until either I don't think there's anything the court can do that's going to change the effect. You guys are going to have to wait until the end of May and to 2021, assuming no other laws are enacted to affect that. Then you can do what you want to do with Monarch and do what you want to do with Turf relative to sell one, sell all. But can't do it now. Thank you very much. Any questions, I'd be pleased to answer them. No?
Actually, I do have a question.
Okay.
Let's go back, and again, I'll probably have questions for the other side, so I'm not picking on you or anything.
Okay, that's right.
I'm trying to understand this.
Sure.
While there's no retroactive language in the bill,
Right.
which would have then said it goes retroactive back to this date, you have to comply.
Right.
They did put in the bill that each commercial live racing committee in this state shall enter into an agreement that complies with this subsection.
Correct.
So to me, that's almost, they're saying that now you have to enter into an agreement that complies with that. To me, again, could it be that instead of being retroactive, they just say, starting this date, you got to do this now?
Specifically say it's retroactive. I just read that law to you specifically. No, what that means there, that language, I'm familiar with it. What that language means is going forward. If tomorrow someone was going to enter into an agreement like the Monarch Turf agreement, or Monarch, and somebody wanted to enter into such an agreement, they would have to comply with 2547 and 5-112U. No question about that. You're right. I mean, but that's what it is. That's the prospective language. They're saying if you do it after the 28th of August 2019, you got to comply with that law, and we don't quarrel with that. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time and your courtesy in extending me additional time.
Lloyd?
I'm going to withdraw my request at this time.
Is Dave here? Dave Otten.
Dave Arthur.
It's on.
Project.
Then they can't hear you because it distorts it.
I screwed it up.
Nope, don't touch
Dave
it.
Arthur for Arizona Downs. I think in the history of disagreements, there's never been a bigger disagreement than what I just heard from Mr. Alston and what I'm going to tell you right now. There is, let me see if I can dissect it a little bit. He has alleged that the lawsuit, which cost you folks many thousands of dollars and enriched Mr. Urban and his firm, rightly so, and cost Monarch God knows how much money, and it cost us where we tried to join the lawsuit. And Buzz says it was all for naught. It was a waste of time, and that the court ruled that the injunction will not be granted because they might as well, because it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. What a joke. The reason the judge ruled is because the law and the facts were such that Monarch cannot prevail in a lawsuit to raise the unconstitutionality of that statute. It's a tremendous victory for you who hired Mr. Urban's firm. It's a tremendous victory for you, Rudy and Ted and Christian and everyone who hired Mr. Urban, showing that the law is not unconstitutional and therefore it ought to be enforced. They tried to stop it and they were unsuccessful. The judge had no idea about this phony August 22nd amendment to the contract. That was never before the judge. None of the contracts with Turf Paradise were before the judge. There was only an affidavit from Mr. DeRudy who said that you're going to impair my contract if you don't rule that this law is unconstitutional. And then the judge analyzed that among the 4 or 5 reasons, and he said, no, Mr. DeRudy, we're not impairing your contract. This statute does not impair your contract. You still have a contract with Turf Paradise. If you want to not provide the signal to somebody, that's your choice. If you want to cut the signal to Turf Paradise, that's your choice. If Turf Paradise wants to sue Monarch because Monarch cut the signal in violation of their contract, that's still their choice. That contract is still there and the court specifically said that. Now, Mr. Coos is too young to remember Wizard of Oz, the movie, but Dorothy had to come back and say, bring me the witch's broom. Just like we had to come back and say, bring me a statue. And we brought you back a statue. And that wasn't good enough. And then the wizard said, bring me something else. And Dorothy and the boys said, nah, we're done. But we kept going. You said, oh no, they filed a lawsuit. That's scary. Wait till the lawsuit is over. And so we did that, and we brought that back too. We should go to Kansas. We should be ready to go. We can't do any more for you to prove to you that this law ought to be obeyed and it ought to be enforced. Retroactivity is an absolute red herring. Mr. Gorey has pointed out a couple of times in his questioning that the statute says you shall offer the signal to all of the permittees. And if you don't, you're breaking the law. The statute has nothing to do with some contract that was written a year ago or longer. And it certainly has nothing to do with an alleged amendment of 5 days before the statute went into effect that none of us even know if it was entered at that time, or none of us should really even care. We are, there is no retroactivity. The chairman has asked me to move forward. My sense is you had a meeting earlier for like an hour, and Mr. Urban gave you a chance, and told you what the law is. Maybe the AG's over here told you what the law is. Maybe you've made up your mind, I'm not sure. But I've said this for 6 months in a row now, and the only difference now is the judge who was asked to rule on the statute has now ruled. And the judge has ruled in favor of the state, and by definition in favor of Arizona Downs. Please do your job and enforce the statute. Thank you. Any questions?
I'm good right now. And we don't have anyone else signed up for
May I have
C6.
1 more minute, please?
Filibuster.
We want to give him another minute?
I don't
No.
Okay, we'll give you a minute and then just 1 minute.
That's good. I just want to, the retroactivity and valid dates of statutes are very important, and they exist, and you can't wave them away. And furthermore, let me tell you something else. If the legislature should make the statute retroactive, then they can do that. They can go back and make it retroactive. Nothing's stopping them. If they do that, whether it's through initial pass or amendment, the retroactive application cannot impair a vested right. When parties enter in a contract, their rights in the contract vest when the contract is executed, and they're likely influenced by the law, and were likely influenced by the laws in effect at that time. And if the retroactive application is substantially impairs the contractual rights, you got to pay them damages. And so that's I don't know what I don't recognize anything this gentleman was talking about in terms of it doesn't matter if the case is not retroactive. Thank you.
This gentleman.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, Bass Aha, representing Arizona Horsemen's Benevolent Protective Association. I will not filibuster, I promise. But I do not find Mr. Alston's testimony compelling, and I'll explain to you why. Simple reading of the statute. The statute says, quote, "The simulcast must be offered to each commercial live racing permittee in this state and additional wagering facility in this state." August 22nd date of signing of a contract isn't the only day the simulcast is issued. It's issued today, tomorrow, next week, next month. The simulcast is a daily issue. The contract is a one-day issue, but the law says the simulcast must be offered to commercial live racing. The one thing that I don't know we said, but I would agree with, is that this commission does not have to approve Mr. Turf Paradise's contract because it was before the 26th. But they do have to follow the law that says if a simulcast is coming in, it's got to be offered to everybody. And guess what? The simulcast didn't just come in August 22nd. It came in the 23rd, the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, clear to today. It is today the simulcast is, and the law says that it must be offered. So I don't find compelling that because of a date of a contract, it precludes you from any action, that you're somehow injuring somebody moving forward and it might be subject to remedies, because the simulcast must be offered to each commercial live racing permittee in this state and additional wagering facilities in the state. That's today. They are out there wagering on simulcast today. Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Action item. This is finished.
It is an action item, yes, sir.
Okay. I know for myself, this has been, it's not really a struggle, but it's just been really hard. I've spent a lot of time, I'm sitting in a hotel room pretty much Sunday night through Wednesday night, and spent time going through the law, and I mean, it is hard where you sometimes may feel like you're going to do harm or whatever, but again, I think we as a body up here, we're just left to, we have to uphold the law. That's all we have to do. What your guys' thoughts are.
I'll jump in there. Since I joined this commission, or since I was appointed to this commission, the department, myself, and I know the other commissioners have spent countless hours sitting down with the permittees, sitting down with the horsemen, getting a better understanding on how we can bring everyone together to make this successful. Those didn't go as well as we hoped, and the legislature moved forward on the bill that many people in this room tried to get passed and passed successfully. So, in my opinion, I think the department did a great job trying to avoid this and come to a peaceful resolution. The legislature has stepped in and enacted a law. Our job as a commission is to adhere by any and all laws appropriated to us. So that's my 2 cents on it. And I have a motion if no one else does.
I have no comment.
You can motion away.
I move to authorize the department to pursue any appropriate legal and enforcement action against Monarch and any other signal sender into the state that is only providing the signal to one provider in the state.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay?
Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Can I amend that before
Yes.
we go through it? Is that too late? Furthermore, disapproving Monarch signal.
Members, as I was listening to your motion, I wanted to clarify, are you saying that Monarch is only, or excuse me, you're saying that the simulcast is providing to only one permittee, or were you, I guess I was unclear as to what the commission was requesting with your motion.
The motion that I'd like to see is giving the department the appropriate legal action against Monarch from sending a signal to only one provider in the state.
And potentially, just to make it cleaner, you may want to do successive motions so that you know exactly what you're voting on.
So should we vote on that one and then vote on this group?
That would be
Okay.
appropriate.
So the original motion had
Should I just reread it?
Oh.
And you can certainly, if you want to, use the statutory language, if that would be easier.
Can we hear you, please?
And I can give you my copy of the bill if you'd like that.
Can we call for an executive session?
I'm okay with that.
I want to make sure we do this.
All right, so move that we go into executive session.
So I have the request from Mr. Coolidge, and you're seconding it, Mr. Garay, for to go into executive
Yes.
session? Okay. All right, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, the time is 11:17. We are recessing for a second executive session. Okay. You-
All right, I'd like to recall meeting back to order. Madam Secretary, could you please call roll?
Thank you. The time is 11:33, and we are now reconvened into the third open session of the 677th Regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting. Roll call is Commissioner Coolidge.
Here.
Commissioner Garay.
Here.
Commissioner McClintock. Thank you. We have a quorum. And please, again, if you need to take a phone call, take it out in the hallway. Otherwise, silence or turn off your cell phone. Thank you.
And just as a reminder, we are on action item C6. Is there any discussion or motions?
I'd like to withdraw my previous motion.
Right, that we need to do, I'll second that.
Okay. So it's withdrawn. It wasn't done. So proceed.
I'd like to move to rescind authorization for all Monarch simulcast signals until such a time as those signals are offered to each commercial live racing permittee in the state and each additional wagering facility in the state.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
That motion carries.
I move to authorize the department to pursue any necessary legal actions against Monarch to prevent Monarch from providing its signal until it complies with all provisions of 5112U and any other applicable statute or rules.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Garay. Okay, so Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
That motion carries.
I also move to authorize the department to pursue any necessary enforcement action against any permittee who accepts wagers on any non-commission approved simulcast signals.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
All right. And again, I want to thank everyone. I know this has been hard, but I know you all put a lot of time and effort into this, and even the discussion we had from everyone. I do appreciate everyone's input. Next item is C7, simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U. The first one is A, Arizona Downs, Penn National Gaming, Inc., Los Alamitos Quarter Horse Racing Association, and Monarch Content Management.
And commission members, you should go through each one, just so you have that
Individually?
analysis
Yes.
on the
Okay. So the first one for that would be Penn National Gaming, Inc. And I do believe everything for them was in order.
Yes, you have it in your package.
Yeah. That's everything I saw.
Move to approve.
Yeah.
Second.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Make that louder so I can hear the motion to,
Move to approve Penn National Gaming.
and my second?
Yes.
Ms. McClintock, thank you. So Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Penn National has been approved. That carries. And so on Los Alamitos?
Nice. Yeah, everything was in order on that as well, pursuant to the law. I move to approve the Los Alamitos Quarter Horse Racing Association.
Second.
Okay, thank you. So Commissioner McClintock has seconded. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Los Alamitos carries. Next is
Monarch Content
yes.
Management. And I do not believe they're providing the signal to all of Arizona Downs OTVs.
That would be correct.
And that would be a violation of the current statute. So I move to deny the Monarch Content Management for Arizona Downs.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge, seconds. Okay, thank you. Yes. Commissioner Coolidge, Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries to deny Monarch Content Management.
The
And that-
next one would be Turf Paradise. It's going to be, they have several here. I'll just run them through all, and then we'll do them individually. Penn National Gaming, Inc., Los Alamitos Quarter Horse Racing Association, Parks Racing, My Way Holding, LLC, DBA Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino, and Churchill Downs, Inc. So the first one would be Penn National Gaming, and I believe that was all in order as well. So I move to approve Penn National Gaming, Inc. for Turf Paradise.
Second.
So Mr. McClintock seconds. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless? Oh, excuse me, he's out, I'm sorry. Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, Penn National is approved, that motion carries.
Next one would be Los Alamitos Quarter Horse Racing Association for Turf Paradise. Everything was in order on that one. I would still move to approve that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. McClintock seconds. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Los Alamitos is approved, that carries.
Next one would be Parks, hopefully I'm saying that right, Parks Racing.
Yes, everything was complete.
Yep. I would so move to approve Parks Racing for Turf Paradise.
Second.
Mr. McClintock seconds. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That carries. Parks is approved.
The next would be My Way Holdings for Turf Paradise. Everything I think was in order on that as well.
Yes, for Sunland Park, I want to make sure.
Yeah, that I wasn't sure if that was all.
It is.
Yeah.
DBA. Yes, sir.
DBA Sunland Park Racecourse and Casino. Everything was in order to that. Pursuant to the statute, I move to approve that as well.
Second.
Okay, Mr. McClintock seconds. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, My Way Holdings, DBA Sunland Park Racetrack Casino has approved, so that carries.
Next one would be Churchill Downs, Inc. for Turf Paradise. Everything, I believe, was in order as with that, as when I looked at it.
Correct.
I would so move to approve Churchill Downs, Inc.
I'm sorry, who's seconding?
I will.
Mr. Coolidge, thank you. So, Mr. Coolidge,
Yes.
Mr. Garay,
Yes.
Mr. McClintock.
Yes.
Okay, Churchill Downs is approved because that motion carries.
Did those who had signed up, did you still need to speak, or you okay? All right, we'll move on. Next one would be action item C8, simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3. First up is Arizona Downs, and they have Charleston, Hawthorne, Laurel Park, Los Alamitos Quarter Horse, Mahoning Valley, Parks Racing, Penn National, Santa Anita, Golden Gate, and Oakland Park. So the first one for Arizona Downs would be Charleston.
Everything would be in order.
Would so move to approve Charleston for Arizona Downs.
Second.
So, Mr. McClintock seconds. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries and Charlestown is approved.
Next one would be Hawthorne for Arizona Downs.
And everything was in order.
And I would so move to approve Hawthorne for Arizona Downs.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock seconds. Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Thank you. Hawthorne is approved. It carries.
Next one would be Laurel Park for Arizona Downs.
And that would be a Monarch signal.
And it's not being provided to all of Arizona Downs OTVs, so I would move to deny Laurel Park as it's violation of the current statutes.
Second.
Commissioner Coolidge seconds. So, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, it carries that Laurel Park, which is the Monarch track, is denied.
The next one is Los Alamitos Quarter Horse Racing.
Everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Los Alamitos Quarter Horse Racing, the Quarter Horse for Arizona Downs, as everything is in order per statute.
Do I have a second?
Second.
That would be Mr. McClintock. Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. And Los Alamitos Quarter Horse is approved. That motion carries.
Did you want to speak before we carry on, or?
Yes, sir. Just ask a quick question.
It's entirely up to you. You're the chair.
I'll
I'll be
let's
very
just
quick.
be real quick, please.
Very quick.
And please,
Yes, you got it.
thank
I'll
you.
sign it afterwards. Yes, sir.
Dave Johnson, Assistant General Manager, Turf Paradise. I just wanted to see if it was possible when you're making these motions, since Monarch does sell the content to Arizona Downs at their facility, could Turf Paradise still receive the content at our facility? It doesn't go to the LTVs, but it seems to be fair. I mean, they're offering it to their facility. Can we receive it at our facility? That's what I would like to ask.
I would think that would have to be some discussion you'd need to have with the department after today's meeting.
The simulcast signal has been denied by the commission, so I do not believe that's going to be possible.
All right.
Nobody's.
All right.
So you want to tell them that?
Yeah, at this time, this Monarch signal has been denied, so basically no one can get it right now.
So going back to, we're on, let's see, which one? 8, Mahoning Valley.
Mahoning Valley.
Do I have a motion?
I'm just waiting to,
Oh, sorry.
he's over there. Mahoning Valley.
I'm sorry. Multitasking, everything's in order.
All right. I would so move to approve Mahoning Valley as everything is ordered per statute.
My second. Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Mahoning Valley is approved. That motion carries.
All right, the next item is Parks Racing for Arizona Downs.
Everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Parks Racing for Arizona Downs as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Parks Racing is approved. That motion carries.
The next item would be Penn National for Arizona Downs.
Everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Penn National as everything is in order per statute for Arizona Downs.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That carries. Penn National is approved.
Next item is Santa Anita for Arizona Downs, and I do not believe everything is in order on that.
The Santa Anita signal is not being allowed in the Arizona Downs OTVs.
All right, I would move to deny Santa Anita to Arizona Downs. There's not all the signals being provided to all the OTVs as dictated by statute.
Second.
That would be Mr. McClintock. Thank you. And Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Santa Anita's signal is denied.
Next item would be Golden Gate. I believe that is also the same,
Same situation as Santa Anita is not allowed in the Arizona Downs OTV.
I would move to deny Golden Gate to Arizona Downs as not all, the signal's not being provided to all of Arizona Downs OTVs as required by statute.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries and Golden Gate is denied.
The next item is Oakland Park for Arizona Downs.
And everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Oakland Park for Arizona Downs as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Oakland Park is approved.
All right. Next item is 8B, Turf Paradise for Charleston, Hawthorne, Laurel Park, Los Alamitos, Quarter Horse, Louisiana Downs, Mahoning Valley, Parks Racing, Penn National, Sunland Park, Turfway Park, Santa Anita, Golden State, and Sam Houston. We will start with the first one, Charleston for Turf Paradise.
Charleston, everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Charleston for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Charlestown is approved. That motion carries.
Next item is Hawthorne for Turf Paradise.
The Hawthorne signal, everything's in order.
I would so move to approve Hawthorne for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Hawthorne is approved as that motion carries.
Next item is Laurel Park for Turf Paradise.
That is the Monarch signal that is not being shown at all the OTVs.
All right, I would so move to deny Laurel Park for Turf Paradise as it's not being provided to all of our committees and OTVs.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries, and Laurel Park is denied.
Next item is Los Alamitos Corridor Horse for Turf Paradise.
Just signal everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Los Alamitos Corridor Horse for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Los Alamitos is approved.
Next item is Louisiana Downs for Turf Paradise.
Louisiana Downs is a CDI signal and everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Louisiana Downs as everything is in order per requirements of the statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Louisiana Downs carries, or excuse me, is approved. That motion carries.
All right, the next item is Mahoning Valley for Turf Paradise.
And everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Mahoning Valley for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Mahoning Valley is approved as that motion carries.
All right, the next item is Parks Racing for Parks Racing for Turf Paradise.
This particular signal, everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Parks Racing for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, Parks Racing is approved as that motion carries.
All right. Next one is Penn National for Turf Paradise.
This particular signal, everything's in order.
I would so move to approve Penn National as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Penn National is approved as that motion carries.
All right, the next item is Sunland Park for Turf Paradise.
This signal, everything is in order.
I would so move to approve Sunland Park for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Sunland Park is approved as that motion carries.
Next item is Turfway Park for Turf Paradise.
Turfway Park is a CDI signal and everything is in order.
Would so move to approve Turfway Park for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Turfway Park is approved as that motion carries.
Next item is Santa Anita for Turf Paradise.
Santa Anita is a Monarch signal and it's not being shown in all the OTPs.
I would so move to deny Santa Anita for Turf Paradise as it's not being provided to all the OTVs and committees as required by statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Santa Anita is denied as that motion carries.
The next item is Golden Gate for Turf Paradise.
Golden Gate is a Monarch signal and it's not being provided to all the OTPs.
I would so move to deny Golden Gate for Turf Paradise as it's not meeting the requirements of statute to provide the signal to all of our permittees and OTVs.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Golden Gate is denied as that motion carries.
Next item is Sam Houston for Turf Paradise.
For this particular signal, everything's in order.
All right, I would so move to approve Sam Houston for Turf Paradise as everything is in order per statute.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClintock. Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Sam Houston is approved as that motion carries.
All right. All right, now we are to C9 2020 amendment to OTV agreement between Uralito Park Racecourse and TV Racing LLP.
This has to do with teletracking within the state of Arizona. This will allow the Turf Paradise signal to be shown at Rito.
Is there any discussion?
I move we approve.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, this matter is approved as the motion carries.
All right. Move down to section C, 10, 2020 amendment to OTV agreement between TV Racing LLP and Uralito Park Racecourse. I believe this is just a reverse.
Yes, sir.
I move we approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Coolidge. Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Mr. Garay?
Yes.
Mr. McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries.
The next one is C11, Relito Racecourse temporary simulcast import request.
As you know, you just approved earlier this meeting, the Rito race meet. They have requested temporary approval for the simulcast agreement, so they have time to get those into the office. They have promised they will get them in before the February start date, which you guys will take up into consideration with the February 14th commission meeting.
Okay. So we would be just approving up until the next racing commission.
Effectively, what it does is the first weekend, they will be allowed to show the signals, providing that the agreements and everything is in place to the department.
Okay.
And then you will do a formal approval on the February 14th commission.
February 13th, excuse me.
Thank you, February 13th.
Yeah, I would think a conditional approval on that would be.
I do believe you'll have to do it individually, but if you'll see on your sheets, 2 of those signals are the Monarch content. It should be Golden Gate and Santa Anita.
Oh, it's over here. They aren't listed on it.
C11.
C11.
Here.
Oh, there we go. All right. For the first one for Relito would be the NYRA Aqueduct. And is everything, it would be, well, we don't even have agreements on that.
So you'll have the temporary approval just for the first weekend for these signals.
All right, I so move to approve temporarily till February 13th Racing Commission meeting, the Aqueduct signal.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Coolidge. Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Mr. Garay?
Yes.
Mr. McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion is approved and carries.
All right, the next item would be Oakland Park, and I believe everything would be in order, hopefully when we get that. So I would so move to approve Oakland Park till February 13th Racing Commission meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Mr. Garay?
Yes.
Mr. McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. It's approved.
The next item would be Fairgrounds, and
That'll be the same.
I would so move to approve Fairgrounds till February 13th, the next Racing Commission meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
That is approved as the motion carries.
The next item would be Golden Gate, and
That is the Monarch signal.
that is currently not being approved or sent to all of our simulcasts, so I would, at this time, move to deny Golden Gate, as it's not in meeting the current statutes.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Coolidge. Mr. Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, Golden Gate is denied, and that motion carries.
And the next item would be Santa Anita, which I think would be in the same boat, so I would move to deny Santa Anita, as it's not, meeting our current statute requirement.
Second.
Thank you. So Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, Santa Anita is denied, as that motion carries.
Next one would be Churchill Downs, Kentucky Derby Day only.
And those will be dark days that you're approving here for the Kentucky Derby Day. So they can have a dark day.
I would so move to approve until the next Racing Commission meeting, which is February 13th, at Churchill Downs, Kentucky Derby Day only.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, that dark day is approved as the motion carries.
All right, the next one would be Pimlico, Preakness Day only, which is a dark day for them as well.
That's correct, but Pimlico is a Monarch signal, so it's done by the Maryland Jockey Club.
I would this time move to deny Pimlico, as it is possibly going to be in violation of our current statutes.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Coolidge. Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, that signal is denied based on the motion carries.
Next one would be discussion items. One would be discussion item 1, R19-2-104, permittee responsibilities.
This was put on the agenda for discussion on the committee responsibilities. I believe it was put on by a licensee.
Just, Buzz, did you have something for this item, or?
No, just on the last item. What I'm wondering.
We have moved on from that.
Pardon me?
We have now moved on to the next item on the agenda. Did you want to speak towards the end when we have open to the?
Yeah, whenever
Okay.
you can. Well, all I wanted to say is, can you guys make a provision in all of this that if we can get Monarch to start sending us signals, we're gonna have to wait till the next racing commission meeting to get these signals all turned on in Arizona Downs.
I think if something happens, I think we would be able to maybe be called for an emergency meeting if it meets that statute, but, until Monarch, until then, I ain't making any promises.
Okay.
All right, I believe, Mr. Nolan, you wanted to speak regarding this item?
Good morning, Commission, Department officials. Greatly appreciate this forum to address concerns that I have. My name is Steve Nolan, and I've been licensed in this state in racing since the mid-'80s, and I've lived in the 85023 area where Turf Paradise is located since then. If you have a minute, do you mind if I just hand out so everybody can see what I'm trying to address? Can they share it? If you could share, I wanted to make sure everything. Pass it back. What I'm concerned about in this is our 19.2.104 permittee responsibilities. I'll read the first rule under permittee responsibilities. A permittee shall maintain the grounds in a neat, clean, and safe condition. If a steward determines that the permittee is not in compliance with this section, the steward shall require that the permittee immediately bring the grounds into compliance. I need just a couple of minutes to give you background on why I'm here. 5 or 6 years ago, when this department took over from the old department, we had a safety steward. We had a budget of $2.8 million that could facilitate such. What happened at that time, at the exact same time that I had walked around with 2 gaming officials, racing officials, Meg Perez and Juan Estrada. They came out early in the morning and they saw the needs of what I brought as safety concerns. Where that need was right down the L row north towards the racetrack. What was accomplished was incredible. They put up telephone poles with light. That area is now lit up like a Christmas tree. They need applauded. That should have set the standard for the whole barn area. That barn area is in utter disarray with tremendous amounts of dark spots that put individuals in harm's way. Individuals, 1,700 equine and several hundred human. Mr. Stiles walked with me 5 o'clock this past Monday. Several of my concerns were addressed. I saw what was accomplished. He saw it. He saw where there's a great need. We need to understand that when that budget was cut, the industry was hurt. Also, at that same time, an individual was silenced for bringing these information to you. That individual was gone, and now it's back. That happens to be me. We need to bring the standard in this state up to a safer level. And I know that I'm not going to be in favor of what the permittee says, but this is the forum. And I am going to respectfully agree to disagree with the permittee when he's going to get up here and says we're safe. I'm there 6 days a week. I'm an agent for jockeys. That means I deal with every barn, every horseman. If a small barn has a fast horse, I'm trying to ride it with my riders. It's not like every person goes to one barn and they work there. I go to probably 50 to 60 barns in the morning. I've seen the problems. I purposely, or accidentally at 5:15, hit a pothole, went down in the mud. It's now called the Nolan hole and hasn't been fixed in over 2 months. And I haven't rode my bike since. I know I only have 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, but you needed to know what happened, where the failures were. It was in the budget cut. It was now that we don't have a safety steward that these can be addressed with to order that these things be done. And I'll address any concerns that you might have. Mr. Stiles was given several pictures. I hope he can address them with you at the right time. This is a discussion item. My point being here is that next September, the second Thursday in September, we don't have Groundhog Day. We start in January, we don't start in May, and wait nothing to happen. No Groundhog Day this year, please. Let's try to get that into safe, clean, neat. I'll deal with safe first. Clean and neat's a whole nother issue. If you have any questions, I'd appreciate it.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
You want me to stay up to the next item?
Yep, you were signed up for that. So the next item would be D2, why Monarch isn't licensed to participate in racing. And if I can speak before you do. I know I did bring this up a few meetings ago, again, because when I did look at I was looking at the statutes, and to me, anyone participating in racing should be licensed through us in some manner. While they're not providing milk or food beverages, they are participating with the signal, and the signal is a very important part of our business. And so, I have questions as to why an entity like that is not licensed through us.
And may I take a step further? Is with what you just did previous, to correct the wrongs, to enforce the oath that you took, to enforce these statutes, do you even have standing? I don't mean to ask. Here's an entity that isn't even licensed for the commission to take action. Do you have jurisdiction? Maybe we need to deal with this, get this ordered immediately with Twin Spires, with all the entities, so that you won't have that hurdle, because we did watch a case here with this commission jurisdiction that lasted 4 years. So let's please try to take that into consideration. I didn't want to bring it up, but I'm hoping that's being dealt with in the ruling you made earlier. But it's something that needs to be addressed so that it doesn't come up and haunt us later. Any questions?
No, but I do think the department will be looking into this.
Could we just defer to the AG can I defer a question to the AG? Will the AG?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next item, E, information report, safety. Mr. Stiles.
As Mr. Nolan noted, there was an inspection done on January 20th where a lighting inspection was done. And I want to explain the process right now. For the last couple months, Mr. Francia and I and the management at Turf Paradise have been bi-weekly meetings where we've gone and we've toured the backside. This particular one this week, we did a lighting inspection and also went to the pool and talked about the pool maintenance issue. Turf Paradise is one of the few tracks that has an equine pool. We noted the weed growth as well, and we always talk about the potholes and road maintenance. We do a tour of the backside. All the lighting issues that I saw that concerned light bulbs or bulbs out, I addressed with Mr. Francia. He has indicated to me that they're being worked on, and it's a good partnership that we're doing. We talked about pool maintenance, and Mr. Francia has indicated to me that the lighting issues in the pool area are being addressed. They concern a couple ballast in the pins. There's also a high overhead light on a pole that need to be addressed. There was some issues with I won't call it a sinkhole, but it's a drainage deal that needs to be cleaned out. And Mr. Francia has assured me that those are being taken care of as quickly as needed. We will continue to go back, and what we do on these tours, we go back to the discussions that we had. As a trainer turns in a work order, it's turned into the HBPA, and I'm now getting those work orders so we can address those. I do believe these meetings are helpful. I think it's helping a little bit that their repairs are being done. Is everybody going to be happy on the timing? Not. Is everybody going to be happy on the lighting? Not. But these are being addressed. It's not the best backside, as I said in the past, but I think this process is working. Our next scheduled tour is February 10th, and I'll report at that point in time what we have. In the next commission meeting, I'll report also on Riedo, which opens up February 8th. I'm going down there next week to do the inspection down there. So this new process, I believe, is working, and a lot of these issues will be resolved in a timely manner.
And I do just want to say I was out at the track Saturday, and I spent some time talking with the jockeys, and they did mention that they were very appreciative of Vince, that they felt like you were reacting to their concerns and doing a good job on that. So good job there.
Final comment?
Just sign up for the item there.
E1.
Steve Nolan again, agent with Racing. As Mr. Stiles mentioned, the weeds are getting bad. I did just mention the permittee responsibility to be a clean, neat, safe condition. I don't feel that the horsemen should be burdened with cleaning up the weeds on a permittee's property. My house, I spray and emerge it twice a year, no weeds. Preventative might have been a better solution than what be needed now. But on the bottom of the overnight, with the recent rains around the barns areas coming up, it is the trainer's responsibility to make sure their barns are clear of weeds. May I just reread? The permittee shall maintain the grounds in a clean, safe condition. It is not the responsibility of these trainers. The responsibility of these trainers to dodge potholes in the dark, to keep their horses sound, to put on the program for the permittee. We do thank those barn areas, the Stacy Campos, the McFarlands, the Theodoros that do have pride and do clean up the barn area on their own. But the permittee, and it's getting out of control. It's putting situations as 4-foot posts that are hidden in these weeds now. Their horses are put in harm's way. We just need to deal with this. And we need to put the responsibility where the statute of the state says, with a permittee. Thank you.
Further? All right, is Jason here?
I do not believe he's here.
He is.
Oh, there he
Good to see you guys as well. Jason LaForest from staff. I'm here to give a update on a couple of financial initiatives that I've discussed in the past. I addressed this body a couple months ago when we submitted a recommendation in this year's budget to include additional monies for a safety vet. Just recently, the executive released their recommendations to the legislative body, and that was included. So we will continue to track that going forward. And ideally, for the next fiscal year, we'll have those additional monies to help ensure the safety of equine and human athletes. The other item I'd like to go over is the financial overview of the health of the agency. For this fiscal year to date, the agency's brought in roughly $945,000. We have about $833,000 worth of expenses, giving us an operating income of $110,000. This is before legislatively mandated transfers to the Breeders' Award Fund, which we have $187,000 so far year to date, which is bringing us $75,000 under. When it comes to cash flow, this is obviously the first month of the third quarter, so we are operating at a break-even point, which is ideal as a government body. We've only spent around 41% of our spending authority for the year, so the financial health of the agency is fairly strong. Any questions? Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next one is permittee reports, not to exceed 3 minutes. Arizona Greyhound Racing.
American Greyhound Racing has nothing to report at this time, but we do have a question. And permittee that receives horse signals, when does this...
I'm sorry, could you step up to the mic and identify yourself on the record? Thank you. You're okay.
His name's John Manning with American Greyhound Racing. We are curious as to when your recent Monarch determinations will take effect.
It is effective immediately.
Like today. So we need to cancel all Monarch signals today.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Moving along, there's something else.
Pardon me?
Moving along, there's
Moving,
something.
yeah. Arizona Downs. You're not going
I understand you guys have heard enough from me, so I'll...
County Fairs.
No report.
No report. Jay? Farouk? Mike, all right. No, now you're...
Rito.
Rito. Come on, Mike.
Sorry. Good afternoon, Mr. Commissioner and members of the Commission. I'm Mike Weiss from Rito Park, and give you a little insight of some positive for a change. Right now, we are still going to address and focus on the safety of our athletes, both equine and human. So as you may have read in the Pollock report this week, Rito is expanding our equine wellness program for 2020. We have Dr. Reed McClellan from the nationally recognized Groom Elite Program coming to teach classes on horsemanship and horse care on February 3rd through the 5th. Our track veterinarians, Dr. Chuck Hoover and Larry Seamus, will again pre-race exam all horses. This year, we will utilize the Encompass pre-race exam module on Microsoft Surface Go tablets for each horse, enabling our track vets to see the history of prior pre-race exams and the equine injury database records for every single horse. We are also going to be reviewing the prior history of all horses submitted on all the stall applications and on the nominations for any stake race that we have to identify horses that need to be examined by our track vets prior to any workouts at Rio. Finally, we are instituting a third-party Lasix program where all Lasix injections will be done only by our two track vets at least 4 hours prior to their races. As for the race meet, I mean, we're excited, and we have 14 days this year. We have a couple special events. On March 7th, we're getting visited by Mind That Bird, who is the 2009 Kentucky Derby winner. He was 50-to-1 shot in the race and considered a total underdog, kind of like Rita. We're all pushing back and surging forward, so it's great to see him making an appearance. February 29th, we have the Budweiser Clydesdales coming back for the 29th and the 1st in full hitch. We will have a private meet and greet, which everybody is invited to the day before. That usually really draws a fantastic crowd. We've added 2 Bank of America, American Quarter Horse Association stake races, along with our regular stakes program. We added one in name of Liz Bracken Memorial, who was a beloved teacher at the racetrack industry program for years, who just recently passed away, so we've added that. And of course, we still have our student program in full force. We have one student here, Jacob Shepard, who will be kind of shadowing me and learning a lot, and as we did with other students in an assistant type of a role. Zach, who was last year's assistant, is now at Oaklawn in full job as a safety steward. She's working at Oaklawn Park. We have prior students, as you know, all over the country, Amtote, Penn National, got a couple at the Jockey Club, and 5 working at NYRA that I can think of, including one who sat in a little office learning how to do simulcasting, is now head of simulcasting. And the students that are working for us are getting credit with the University College of Agriculture and Life Science. They get credit, school credit for working there. So I just urge everybody to come out and enjoy. We get great crowds, people dancing between races. It's a lot of fun, great demographics. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jason Greyhound Park.
Alicia Heiser, nothing to report. Federico Wilson.
All right, Turf Paradise.
We're good to go.
All right, thank you. All right, the next one is optional industry stakeholder association updates, not to exceed 3 minutes. Arizona Counties Racing Association. Moving along, Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Loretta Brazier. I'm the executive director for the Arizona Quarter Racing. I haven't spoke to you guys in a while, but I felt like I should get up this morning and say a lot of thanks. I think a lot of congratulations to all the hard-working people that have made these decisions today for all of us. Our industry's in trouble, has been for a while. Hopefully this will be something that will drag us out and get us back going. I want to really congratulate Rito and the program that they have over there. One thing that Mike didn't say is on February opening weekend on Saturday night, we will have the Arizona Quarter Racing is going to be inducting Hall of Fame members. We have Larry Gamez, Vince Guerra, and Zip Peterson that will be inducting into our Hall of Fame that Rito is graciously allowed us to do over there. Also, we will have a celebration of life for Patty Shirley. We all remember Patty and the equine encore. So we will be having a little celebration of life. So as Mike said, you know, you're all welcome. Rito's a nice place to be. So I'll end that on a nice note. Thank you.
Thank you. Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association.
Nothing to report.
HBPA.
Good morning, Commissioners. Leroy Gussman, Arizona HBPA. I got 3 things here this morning I'd like to go over with you. First of all, I'd like to commend Rito for what they're doing with these safety issues. I think it's a great thing. I mentioned 3 years ago we needed third-party LASIKs in this state, and I'm glad to see that they are being the leader and starting this process. I think it's something all the tracks should follow suit with, and I'm glad to see it get started. Also, the pre-race inspection where we are using the Encompass program. I've been pushing for that for 3 years as well, but I'm glad to see they are doing it, and I want to thank them for it. One thing the horsemen are having a serious issue with that this department deals with is getting our purse money. Just quickly, the winners of each race and sometimes second place horses have to be tested to make sure they were not using any illegal drugs. And they go to the test barn, they have their blood drawn, and they collect urine. And that is sent to a lab, industrial labs in Denver. For some reason, what's supposed to take 5 business days in the last couple of months has been taking 10 to 15 business days. And then if the check or test comes back cloudy, it's taken another additional 5 to 10 days. These horsemen at Turf Paradise, Rito, Arizona Downs, they are running for some of the lowest purses in the nation. They're running for very little money compared to the other states around the country that have racinos. They have alternative gaming subsidizing their purses. These guys are basically living paycheck to paycheck. And when it takes 21 days or 28 days to get their check, this is putting a big burden on our horsemen. Now, I've talked to Greg about it. He's working on some things to make some changes. I don't know, it sounds, this lab does have the capability of turning these tests around in 3 days. I think you guys ought to consider this, and maybe this lab has just got too much business. Maybe they got too many clients that are paying a little extra to get it in 3 days. I don't know. I know you guys have a limited budget as the horsemen do. But when people don't get their money, horses aren't being cared for properly. They're not getting proper feed. They're not getting the proper care. And this is a serious problem for the horsemen. And I'd like to see this department address this. And the third and last thing is, we have talked in previous meetings before about the Horse Racing Integrity Act. I just want you to know that on Tuesday, they will be having a hearing, a committee hearing that will be, I understand, being televised on CNN. I'm hoping that someone is streaming it so we can see it, but they will be discussing about the horse racing integrity. I'd encourage everyone to watch it. Thank you. Are any questions? Okay, thank you.
John Keysfield. All right, moving on to commission reports, summary of current events affecting the Arizona Racing Commission. Is there anything? All right. Then the next one would be F2, identification of matters for future agendas. I would like to, on the next meeting, have some discussion about what's going on here with the slow drug result returns.
If I may address that?
Sure.
As Leroy noted, we've had to have discussions. Leroy and I meet every Wednesday about this, and he has expressed these concerns with us. This week I reached out to the lab, the industrial labs in Colorado, and just not more than 5 minutes ago, I have the release of January 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and the 18th, which will bring us up to date. We have this problem typically on when the holidays come, because the lab does have holidays and they have time off as well. This particular issue came from a lost cooler. These samples are sent in coolers, so Dr. Gale only had one cooler at the time. But these samples, now that we've got the release, which the stewards will do on Saturday, we will have released purses all the way to the 18th, which will leave only 1 week, the 20th through the 23rd, which is this week that they ran, which they'll probably have released by next week. So I think we're going to be back on track. And I've also asked the lab to talk about a 3-day turnaround as opposed to their contract, which is a 5-day turnaround.
Right. Yeah, just maybe at the next meeting, kind of give us an update where we are.
I can certainly do
Anything else? All right. G, call to the public. Anyone want to? All right. Announcements. The next regular scheduled commission meeting will be 10 a.m. on Thursday, February 13th, 2020.
I would like to add that in light of the approval of Rito's permit, that there may be a quorum of the racing commissioners at the opening weekend. A notice will be posted on the website and out at the track, just as an FYI.
All right, thank you. So again, the next meeting's Thursday, February 13th, 2020, at 10 a.m. right here in this building. And at that point in time, I would I'll second it.
Okay. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock? Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned and the time is 12:24 p.m.